Hello there, Jose Rodriguez back again. I finally got my 2880 cleared of any air in the printhead, and I produced a clean nozzle check, and then I printed a purge sheet. It was clean, no banding whatsoever. Now, I was able to then, and I had to do that before I could even begin to create a profile for this paper. And this is just a watercolor art paper that is used by artists to paint watercolor. So it is called Canson watercolor or aquarella. In Spanish it's aquarela. In Italian it's aquarelle watercolor paper. And it is a rough texture, very thick, 300 gram, 140 pound, 300 gram paper. It's very, very thick and nice and stiff. And luckily my 2880 is able to handle it using the normal paper feed. I don't have to feed it through the rear feed, which would normally be the case for most printers. So here are the color charts that I generated with the Color Monkey. This is the first one. Then it generates a second one. Once you scan everything, you have your working profile. And then I loaded some of the images that I converted to a painterly look onto QImage, and I proceeded to print them. And here they are. As you can see, it gives it that painterly look. I also spray them with a matte protectant spray, and that enhanced the darks a little bit more. Now, one thing you have to accept is the fact that you are never going to achieve a pure deep black like I would have even with this ink, using a properly coated inkjet type paper. This is not, remember, this is like printing on blotter paper practically. It has a little bit of sizing that they apply at the paper mill because again, this is for watercolor painting. Show you the back. It's just plain paper. It's very stiff and it produces a really nice look. Again, you have to accept the fact that it's not going to be for photographic purposes, although I have used it for that and has worked very well for portraiture, outdoors, group shots of people and so on. I've done a lot for our family using that particular paper and that process. So I want to show you one more here. Some autumn leaves. Very nice. Everything is nice and sharp. I can see very sharp lines on here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that if I put it up close. But there you go. And it is an interesting look. It's not a look for everyone. It's just, I like it. And it just, when I show it to people, they think it's not a photograph. They think it's more of a painting. But I explained that that is not the case. This is in Gettysburg. The leaves were also in Gettysburg in the fall. This is one of the fields that I usually, when I pass by there in the fall, I'll snap a couple of pictures. This is quite beautiful with the split rail fences. And then you transform this into a painting in, sorry, but I don't remember what software I used because this is about 2 years ago. And after my computer crashed several times and tried to revive it, I lost track of that software. But if you guys are interested, I'll look it up and provide you the source of that software. Now here's the one that I've actually sold this. This is in Annapolis. It's an outdoor cafe, and I shot it and I made it into an oil painting. I don't know if you can see the detail in there, the brush strokes. And this turned out gorgeous. I actually made sure that there was a black point and a totally white point. These areas here are just a paper background. No ink was applied. And this is really nice. This is just lovely. I have done this in 18 by, I think it's no 17 by 24 size on my 3800 when I was using OCP inks. OCP matte black is very, very dense and almost as dense as this one used by Cone. So that combination allowed me to produce some really nice deep blacks on a paper that normally does not produce deep blacks whatsoever. People that try this technique will complain back at me that, oh, this looks really dull. Well, you know, it is uncoated. And you tell me if this looks dull. This is not that dull. This is actually quite nice. It's really like an art print should look. And like I said, I have sold numerous copies of this print in various sizes, this actual image. And so luckily that I was able to capture that day. It was a beautiful day and everybody was outside having a little meal, and I happened to pass by, and it was one of those things where I just took a shot, just one shot, and that's been a good one for me. All right, so that is it. If you guys want to try this, let me know, and I will tell you where to buy the paper. Actually, any art store will have it. Your AC Moore's, your Michael's, Amazon carries it. You can get it on eBay. And then you will have to have a source of really, really dense ink. And I'm telling you, I am pushing this, not because I want to push Cone, but the fact that it is indeed very, very dense. And so go to the Inkjet Mall site and order yourself a bottle of this Ultra HD matte black. And if you refill any Epson type printer, then replace the matte black that you're using with that particular one. Then you might have to create a profile. And the reason for the profile is to extend the lower tones a little further down in the gamut bubble. In other words, most profiles that are generic for the printer do not extend that far down, so you're not able to print as dark as your printer is able to do so. And so that's why you want to create a profile. It's recommended by John Cone himself that you create a custom profile when you start using that particular ink with whatever combination of K3 inks that you're using, even OEM. That's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this little short video, and I'm very happy that I was able to get my printer to work, and indeed it was the cards that were leaking and not the printer that was allowing them to drain. Whew. Wow, that's a load off my shoulders. Okay, so thank you everyone again. Please subscribe, share, and like. And until the next time, happy printing, everyone. Bye-bye.